That gentleman you see next to me in the Abilene Christian hat is the one and only Jeffrey Goodman. It is. We're going with it. We're going. You got to. We're sticking with it.
It did well yesterday, so it sticks around for another day.
Exactly. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I would have been better had the Idaho State Vandals. I think it's the Vandals. Idaho might be.
It is.
It is. Okay, the Vandals. They won by a point yesterday. They were given a point and a half. Had they won and had Mike Young and Virginia Tech covered, which they were up. You and I were watching the kind of live stream there because neither one of us get ACC Network. They were up like 9 with like 10 seconds left, and Wake cut it. So literally two buckets. I would have been 10-0 yesterday. 2 buckets away.
Yeah, we that was not fun. That was not fun. I ended up going 2-3 based off of the picks that I made on the stream because Memphis decided to yak away a win as well. They did. But I made it back because I jumped on the Weber State bandwagon, fading Tarleton State.
You gave me that one.
And so Weber State was down 51-42 with 11 minutes left in the second half, and they won 94-79. They scored 52 points in the last 11 minutes of a game.
Amazing.
52 points in 11 minutes. It's incredible.
Give the background a little bit. You did some research on Tarleton State and bully Clyde Gillespie, and he had back-to-back games. He had a back-to-back at Cal Baptist.
And then they traveled from California to Ogden, Utah to take on Weber State on a Sunday night. And they were up by 9 with 11 minutes left, and then their legs gave out. They played 6 guys in their second game at Cal Baptist.
Rob, I did some research knowing Bully Clyde, and I was like, this dude probably played a guy 40 minutes 3 straight games, right? Probably. I wanted to look up to see. He didn't. He played one kid 40-40-22, another kid. That was the best. Yeah, that was the one. So back-to-back 40-40-22. At least he gave his kid a little bit of a break last night. But, yeah, their legs gave out. Good call. I honestly, I was hoping they'd run out of gas, but it didn't look like it. First half, end of it.
Well, see, I sent that text out to like 7 different people, and I was like, "Oh man," because it was also like this was the day after. I felt like I owed him because I was like, "Yeah, you got to get on the Auburn over, got to get on the Auburn over, got to get on the Gonzaga over. Make sure you take Gonzaga to cover too." And so I was like, "I got to get these guys something." Yeah, so I tried to give them that, and then they were like, I was literally getting texts that said like "fade train." All right, so let's get into tonight's slate. We actually have some fun games tonight.
Memphis first. Before we get on to tonight, I feel like the one topic, there wasn't a lot yesterday. Let's face it. I mean, Iowa beat up on Northwestern. Blah 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 blah. Northwestern's fading back into oblivion, which is where they were after a good 3-game stretch. But here's my one thing that I would like to talk about is with Memphis and Penny Hardaway. And how do you feel with the future of Memphis right now? They just gave Penny a contract extension recently. He's followed Josh Pastner and Tubby Smith. Neither did much. Are you buying that Penny Hardaway is the future of Memphis basketball? What would you do if you were the athletic director?
I would tell Penny he has to hire somebody to run his offense.
Good call.
I think it's that simple. Yeah. Go out and hire somebody to run your offense. The way that John Beilein went out and hired somebody to run his defense when he hired Luke Yaklich. I always get his name backwards. Luke Yaklich. But that's what I was.
What do you call him?
I say, yeah, I always say Luke Yaklich, and it's Luke Yaklich. Every time I say it, I get it backwards. It's like Hilton Coliseum and Hinkle Fieldhouse. It's man, I'm a mess. I'm a mess, Goodman. I'm a mess. But yeah, I would make him go out and hire somebody to run his offense because that's the issue. Memphis has been a top 10, top 15 defense for the last 2 years. They lock people up. They can't score. It's bad. They cannot score.
It's actually a great call because, listen, nobody questions whether Penny Hardaway is going to get players to Memphis. Like, he's got enough talent. I mean, I know they lost Precious and Wiseman last year, but they're still good enough in a shitty AAC to, like, finish second behind Houston this year. Cincinnati.
Yes.
I mean – The league stinks. It's really, really bad.
Memphis is good enough that they should be getting to the second weekend of the tournament, or at least threatening to get to the second weekend. They have the talent to be able to do that.
They do.
They have the talent.
I would agree with you. I actually think it's a brilliant idea for you, and it's not often I say that, but I think
that's the first time you've ever said that, ever.
Well, it's probably the first time it's ever happened. I mean, listen. If Penny brings in a guy and does what a lot of other coaches are doing right now, and I don't know if he's doing this already with offensive, defensive coordinator, but whoever the hell the offensive coordinator is,
if he has an offensive coordinator right now, like that dude's you got to go, buddy. Exactly. You got to go.
Go recruit the best damn offensive mind. It reminds me years ago. I think it was Lav. Didn't Lav do it at St. John's with Mike Dunlap? Remember that? And then Lav had to step away due to health concerns, and Dunlap ran the team for a while. I think it was their only year they made the NCAA tournament under Lav. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Like Mike Dunlap would be a guy I'd bring in. He's a brilliant mind. He's not a head coach, in my opinion. Like, he was a great head coach at Metro State in Division III, but he's not really a D1 head coach. He showed that at Loyola Marymount. He's obviously not an NBA head coach. That didn't work out very well. Thanks, Michael Jordan. But ultimately, Mike Dunlap would be a great guy right now for like a Penny Hardaway to bring in and just give him the offense, let him run it, go recruit, go work with these guys on skill development, whatnot. But I love that idea. I think that's what he should do.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's frustrating to watch them because they should be better than they are, and you want them to. Like, I want Memphis to be relevant. College basketball is better when Memphis is good.
Totally.
So
and I
don't know.
Penny. Can I tell you? I've spent a decent amount of time around Penny. I really, really, really like Penny Hardaway as a guy. So I want him to succeed. And it's hard because, like, the Pastner and Tubby Smith regimes were like blah. They were like so vanilla. Tubby, you couldn't name like a guy on their team when he was at Memphis. Now you know everybody, and the expectations are built up, and they're not living up to them, which is sometimes obviously worse than having no expectations or minimal expectations and being irrelevant. But I think ultimately, if they stick with Penny, which they're doing, and Penny goes out and recruits, which he'll be able to do, and they're not bad defensively. They're not. You gotta like, and at times they look good offensively. Like, at times you watch them and they'll run pretty good stuff and they'll move the ball. And then other times they're just out there jacking and it looks like it's AAU basketball. It looks like it's, Penny coaching AAU.
Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest problem is that they're not really running all that much.
Which is surprising.
It's not really, if you think about it, because when you are someone that is as good as Penny was when he was playing, it's not, right. And it's not necessarily a knock on him. That's just how he made it work. Like, he could beat anybody.
Make a play, or Alo can't make a play like Penny could. So you better run some shit.
You have to scheme stuff up to get these guys shots in certain spots, and they're not, like, he's just maybe he will develop that. Maybe he needs to learn. Like, maybe, I was hoping that they would find something during this 3 weeks that they were laid off, but nope, didn't work out.
They did not.
All right, let's talk about tonight's slate. St. John's UConn tips off at 2:30. We have Florida State Louisville at 7:00, which is really interesting. But the big game of the night that we have to talk about is
you started with the lightweight division, you moved up to the middleweight division.
Well, you got to lead it up. One day I'll teach you about, like, the hosting and how you kind of, like, set the tease up for what you're going to talk about in the future, and then I'll drop you notes on that one at one point. But yeah, Kansas Baylor. Baylor's laying 9.5. That total is 140. It's being played in Waco. Jeffrey, I think I know what you like because I already saw what you put in on BetSperts. So
you did. I went right into BetSperts. I think I woke up this morning, saw that line, and said, "I gotta get it now."
Yep.
I went Kansas plus 9.5. I went moneyline Kansas plus 355, and I went the under of 140.5. Yes, I went.
Wow.
I think Baylor loses tonight. I do. I think Baylor loses tonight.
Talk me through it.
Well, listen, here's what I'll say is both teams a year ago, they split. Now, Kansas was better a year ago. They had Big Doak. They had Dotson. I understand that. And Baylor's better this year probably than they were last year, which is crazy to say, but probably true. There's probably splitting hairs there. They split. Kansas won at Baylor. Baylor won, if you remember, in that historic win at Bog Allen. Baylor's just blown teams out. I mean, we think Gonzaga's blown teams out, but Baylor has won every game by at least eight points. They are winning by an average of 26 points a game, Robert. They are blowing teams out. I just feel like I get Kansas, and I've said it over and over. They're not nearly as talented as the Kansas teams have passed. But I think you're going to give Bill Self some time to prepare here and go into Waco. And I think they're going to pull out a W here. Now, they got to make some shots from three. We know that. And David McCormick's got to be big tonight. But ultimately, if they can make some shots, I think they go in to the mighty Farrell Center and come away with the actual victory. How's that?
So my big concern with picking them to win is that you're right. I do think that they need David McCormick to be a presence, especially on the offensive end of the floor. But I don't know what he does defensively because Baylor loves what Scott Drew is going to do is he's going to figure out the weakness that Kansas has on the defensive end of the floor, and he's going to attack it every single time. We saw him do it against Illinois and Kofi Coburn, and he just put Kofi in ball screen after ball screen after ball screen after ball screen after ball screen. And I think he's going to do the same thing with David McCormick, which means we're probably going to see a lot of small ball from Kansas. And if you have Jalen Wilson or someone like that trying to box out Mark Vital and Everyday John, that's not ideal.
They got to train for twos.
Yeah, but I do think that I love your call of the under because both of these teams are very, very good defensively. Both of them are very, very well coached and are two of the best scouting teams in the country. And I fully expect them to just completely muck each other up and kind of figure out what each other want to do, especially in the first half. I really like the first half under as they kind of feel each other out. They match up well in the sense that what Baylor's been doing is spreading people out and kind of taking advantage of the fact that they can go legitimately four guards that are all 6'5" and really, really, really good. And Kansas can match up with that and might even have the advantage in some of those spots, especially on the defensive end of the floor. I don't know how Kansas is going to be able to score. It just seems like that's
going to score at a high level unless they shoot the hell out of it, right? They're going to have to make 12, 15 threes to win this game. But like you said, if Baylor has those four guards on the floor, it plays into the hands of Kansas.
Yeah, which is why. So I like the Kansas side.
I like the money line.
I don't think that Kansas can win this game, but I do think it's so. I think it's going to be low scoring, and if it's low scoring, I'm assuming it's probably going to be close. And if it's close, then I want the 9 points.
Yep.
But I just don't. I have a very hard time seeing Kansas coming out and actually winning this game. But you know what? If you're getting 3.5 to 1 on it, then that's
what I'm saying. You get Kansas, and you're getting 3.5 to 1 on that to win, and you got Bill Self, and I know he's let me down here the last time or two. I understand that, but Shaka Smart made Bill Self look like he was coaching against me. But ultimately, I still like the value in this one all the way around. And this is really the only pick I love of the day, which is crazy because you know me, I'll come up with 15 picks. I think I did 15 or 20 the other day. There's nothing else on the board that I absolutely love.
What about Florida State, Louisville?
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I want to go Florida State. But Louisville was just embarrassed down in Miami against a Miami team that can't beat anybody. Louisville's at home now. They're only given 2. I don't have a good feel on this, Rob. I really don't have a good feel on this one at all.
So I really like Louisville in this spot for a bunch of the reasons you just mentioned. One, Florida State without Scotty Barnes, is coming off of a nice win that everybody saw on ESPN against North Carolina, who is not as good as people realize, but Florida State beating North Carolina, people are going to gravitate to that. Like you just mentioned, Louisville buy low spot coming off of a loss at a Miami team that is better than like Miami's 2-5 in the ACC, but I still contend that they like if they get Chris Likes and Cam McGusty back, like they might be the best team in the conference. They're missing two of at worst their top three players right now. And they're still out here. They're 3 possessions away from being 5-2 in the ACC right now. Yep. So Louisville lost to them. But what happened? The thing about the North Carolina game is Florida State's defense. They switch everything. They don't let you run your stuff. They don't let you run your sets. They force you to put your players in a position where you have to beat them one-on-one to win, more or less. That's kind of what they want to do. And North Carolina does not have the guards to be able to win those battles. Louisville has Carlik Jones and David Johnson. So you're giving me a buy low spot where the matchup favors the home team, who's only laying 2 points. I really like Louisville in this spot. I think this is a really nice bounce back spot for Louisville and a place to buy them low.
St. John's at UConn. No James Bouknight. UConn giving 7.5. It opened at 10.
Real quick, Jeff. John Mitchell asked if Scotty Barnes is playing. I don't think we're going to know until closer to tip-off. But he did not play on Saturday. He sprained his ankle against NC State. So, I mean, that was 2 days ago. I would guess that he's probably either out or not at 100% is my guess. But honestly, like, I don't think that Scotty Barnes necessarily matters as much as the hype would lead you to believe, because Florida State's what they do is it's the machine that makes them run, right? And yes,
he's really good.
Good. No, he is, but like they're good enough defensively that it's relevant. And I think that with the way that MJ Walker is playing and the way that Raekwon Gray is playing and the way that Raekwon Evans is playing, that it's not necessarily like
it's just some of their parts.
Yeah, like he's another cog in the machine, but he's not a thing where it's like, oh, Florida State's out. We got to bet on Louisville because they won and they covered against North Carolina without Scotty Barnes.
Yep. No, agreed.
So.
For Louisville, it comes down to they can't have their elite players have a night off. You know, David Johnson, Carlik Jones.
Mm-hmm.
They can't have a night off. They both got to combine for against good teams. They got to combine for 35, 40 points to have a chance to win. And that's what worries me against Louisville, Rob, is they just, to me, I would probably go the under, if anything, here at 140.5. That's probably where I would lean towards.
I don't love it because Florida State will run.
Yeah, I just think if you're Louisville, you don't want to run with them, right? You want to slow it down if you're Louisville. You don't have a lot of bodies. You're not a high octane offense, so you're at home. Can you control tempo a little bit? And
they have the guards. You're right. Yeah, they have the guards to be able to do that. All right. So St. John's at UConn. That's a 2:30 tip. No James Bouknight. UConn is laying 7.5. That seems like a lot, but I don't trust anything about the St. John's team, and I don't think like the problem like with St. John's in this spot is UConn still has like good enough guards that they're not going to get forced into turnovers. And I don't think that Danny Hurley has a problem playing an up and down game where you try to go athlete against athlete because UConn still might have the better athletes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know where points are going to come from, but I'm not. You know me with St. John's. I don't trust Mike Anderson. I don't trust his offense. I don't trust his defense. I don't think they're very disciplined. They haven't been good this year. I've got a bunch of St. John's fans that were killing me when I crushed the hire of Mike Anderson. And I asked them, I'm in a group chat with a bunch of these knuckleheads. And I said, what's your confidence level right now with Mike Anderson? 1 to 10. What is it? And it was about a 4 or 5 for most of them. So they're slowly losing faith in Mike Anderson. And as I said all along, Rob, bad hire, especially for the spot. It made no sense. To me, you better play with UConn without its best player, Booknight, and with its second best player, Cook, right now, a shell of himself trying to get back to what he was.
You think a Cook is UConn's second best player
when he's healthy? Sure, absolutely. When he's healthy, when he's 100%, I think it could.
I don't know if he'll ever get back. You tear your Achilles, and you're a guy that's toolsy.
He was their second best player. They lost. If you take in a year ago, their two best players, Booknight and a Cook, they're both not going to be basically on the floor today. I mean, a Cook, I guess he'll play like 8 minutes. And yes, he's not going to be anything this year after tearing his Achilles for a guy that needs that. Like, the athleticism is everything to a Cook.
Yeah, they got Tyrese Martin's going to be playing, and he's been awesome. Isaiah Whaley's going to be playing. I love Isaiah Whaley. The Poly kid's been making a ton of threes. So, they still have the weapons in my mind to be able to get this win. And I
hate the guy today that's kind of bailing out of a lot of these. I'm looking at him.
No, it's good. Like, the whole point of this stream is to tell people like what we love, and if we don't like anything, then just say we don't like it.
I like LaSalle, Rob.
you guys, you don't have to bet every single game. That's the best way. The best way to murder your bankroll is to try to bet every single game instead of just betting the stuff that you really like.
I do not believe Ryan Daly will play tonight for St. Joe's at 4:00. LaSalle is favored, which scares the hell out of me anytime LaSalle is favored. Last I checked, Lionel Simmons is not playing in that game. I don't know if you know who Lionel Simmons was.
Oh, I know who Lionel Simmons is. I know all about LaSalle.
The L train.
I've done two national broadcasts in my life for games, and one of them was a LaSalle game. I'm basically a LaSalle expert.
All right, good to hear. Good to hear it. So if I was going to go anywhere, I would go LaSalle, given the two there, but that's just info for everybody watching at this point. The other one.
So I remember when LaSalle beat Dayton at Dayton back before New Year's Eve, and so like I haven't checked on anything since that game. So in my mind, I was like, yeah, you know what, Ash Howard's doing a pretty good job. They're having a pretty good season. And I just brought up their schedule. Last 3 games, they lost by 16 to UMass, they lost by 33 to George Mason, and they lost by 24 at Davidson. It's I can't not going well.
I'm just giving you the info that Ryan Daly probably won't play. That's all I'm giving you here. You can do with it what you want. Last one, Rob. What do I do? I got a quandary here. Sacramento,
okay.
The rematch today at 3:00. It looks like against Idaho State. We know what happened yesterday. I had it. I felt good. Idaho State, and then Sac State at the end covers. It's a pick 'em today. Do I roll it back out with Idaho State with the Vandals?
I would go Sacramento State.
What? That goes against my whole theory.
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you anything about either of these teams. I don't even have a lineup. I don't even have a line available.
Are they not on? Maybe
for what I'm looking at, I don't even have a line available. So I have no idea. Goodman, you're
roll it out. I need some afternoon action.
Okay? An afternoon's a light.
I'm going to go Idaho State here. I'm going to say that if this game is actually happening.
Oh, man. Just bet UConn. Don't.
No.
Actually, you know what? That's a lie. Parlay them. Parlay UConn and Idaho State. There you go.
Bad idea. That would give me some riveting afternoon excitement. It's 3:00. Think about it. And I was going to go, hey, UNC Wilmington Towson. I was also to fade Towson again. But Wilmington hasn't played for like 2-3 weeks. So they're both coming off long pauses. So I don't necessarily love that one. Western Carolina, remember, came off a pause. They're playing Samford today. Western Carolina lost yesterday to Mercer on Saturday by 2 points. I'm just giving you the info. I'm not touching it, but I am going to go.
If you're not fading Arkansas Pine Bluff at 4:30 today, are you really living?
I have no SWAC. Info today. I got
nothing. You have no swaction.
No swaction today. I was going to go Grambling plus 4.5. I'm really close. You can convince me. If you want to convince me to go Grambling plus 4.5,
do it. Take it.
You got to come stronger than that.
Take it. I got nothing. Hey, they're not going winless this year. How about that?
They play Prairie View. This is a big matchup.
Big matchup.
Big game.
Big swaction going on.
So I went on here saying I'm only going to go. The only stuff I'm going with is Kansas, right? Kansas money line, Kansas +9, and the under 140. And now I've added, just so you know, I've added Idaho State, I've added Grambling, and I don't know about that parlay with you,
Jeff. This is the point where I would tell you that if you have a problem, all you have to do is call 1-800-GAMBLER.